Book of Heaven, Volume 12, February 10th, 1919. Jesus asks Luisa whether she wants to live in his will, whether she wants to accept the office of second link with his humanity, and whether she wants to accept his love as her own and his will as life. Continuing in my usual state, my always lovable Jesus came, and taking my hands in his, he clasped them, and with a majestic affability he said to me,
"My daughter, tell me, do you want to live in my will? Do you want to accept the office of second link with my humanity? Do you want to accept all my love as your own, my will as life, my very pains that the divinity inflicted on my humanity, which were so many that my love feels an irresistible need not only to make them known, but to share them as much as it is possible for creature? And I can share them and make them known only with one who lives in my will, completely dependent on my love. My daughter, it is my usual way to ask for the yes of the creature, to then operate freely with her."
Jesus became silent as though waiting for my fiat, and I remained surprised, and I said, "My life, Jesus, your will is mine. You unite them together and form one single fiat, and I say yes together with you. And I pray you to have pity on me. My misery is great, and only because you want it, I say, fiat, fiat." But oh, how annihilated and pulverized I felt in the abyss of my nothingness. More so, since this nothing was called to live life in the all. So my sweet Jesus united the two wills together and impressed a fiat, and my yes entered into the divine volition, and it seemed not a human yes, but divine, because it had been pronounced in the will of Jesus. And this yes in the divine will multiplied into many, for as many refusals as creatures gave to my sweet Jesus, this yes made the most solemn reparations, embraced everyone, as though wanting to bring everyone to Jesus, substituting for all. It was a yes which had the seal and the power of the divine volition, pronounced neither out of fear nor out of interest of personal sanctity, but only to live in the will of Jesus and run for the good of all, and bring to Jesus divine glory, love, reparations. My lovable Jesus seemed so happy with my yes that he said to me,
"Now I want to adorn you and clothe you like me, so that together with me you may come before the majesty of the Eternal One to repeat my same office."
So Jesus clothed me, and as though identified me with his humanity, and together we found ourselves before the Supreme Majesty. I don't know how to say it. This majesty was an inaccessible, immense, varied light of incomprehensible beauty, upon which everything depended. I was lost in it, and even the humanity of Jesus was small. The mere entering into the air of this light brought happiness, embellished. But I don't know how to go on in saying it. And my sweet Jesus said,
"Adore the uncreated power together with me in the immensity of my will, so that not I alone, but also another creature may adore in a divine manner, in the name of all her brothers of the generations of all centuries, the one who created everything and upon whom all things depend."
How beautiful it was to adore together with Jesus. They multiplied for all. They placed themselves before the throne of the Eternal One, as though in defense from those who would not recognize the eternal majesty, or would even insult it, and they ran for the good of all to make it known. We did other acts together with Jesus, but I feel that I don't know how to go on. My mind wavers and is unable to lend me the right words. Therefore, I will not go on. If Jesus wants it, I will come back to this point. Then my sweet Jesus brought me back into myself, but my mind remained bound as though to an eternal point from which it could not move. Jesus, Jesus, help me to correspond to your graces. Help your little daughter, help the little spark.